Hey, everybody, welcome to the Finance Rebel Show. I am Kamari Ellis. And as you all know, every Saturday, or just about every Saturday, we do a special wealth conversation. So today we have a very, very special guest. I know this guy's going to be awesome. We've been friends for a couple of years now. But today we're going to talk to this guy named Real Estate Coach Carter, a.k.a. Malik Carter, a.k.a. Cobbs Creek Leak. But Malik is a real estate agent, a real estate investor, and now, finally, he's a stock market investor. And so, like I said in the beginning, Malik, we've been friends for several years now. So we've always had these epic battles about what's better, real estate or stock. And now he's kind of coming around to my side of things, the stock market side of things. But as we all know, there really is no best side, right? I do that. I play around with my friends who love real estate. And I do joke around about it because I do feel many in our community only love real estate and they lack the exposure of the stock market. But at the end of the day, you get it how you get it. And Malik has figured out how to get it. So everybody say hello to Malik. And Malik, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Hey, everybody. First and foremost, I'm excited. I got my first dividend yesterday, the day before.
Congratulations.
$1.80 from Apple, my very first dividend ever in life. I'm going to take that $1.80 and cherish it. Like I said, like Kamari said, I've been investing in real estate maybe since 06, 07-ish. I bought my first property. But before that, I was a mortgage loan officer, and I was wiped out in 08 and had to reinvent myself. And then this is the reincarnation. You know, I've helped a lot of people build their real estate portfolios and get some cash flow and do some flips. And I've helped even more people get into really good properties. And now, like I said, I'm just trying to really expand my knowledge base and share the information as I get it.
Now that's interesting, right? I forgot you survived, that whole 07, 08 time frame.
It's crazy.
Do you see any similarities about what's going on right now and what went on about a decade ago?
Not unemployment is the one similarity, but people don't realize, right, of the last recession of 08, over the whole 4-year period, we lost about 12 million jobs. We were at like 36 million unemployment claims in like 5 or 6 weeks, So sure, a lot of those jobs are coming back, but a lot of those jobs aren't, right? So we got 36 million jobs lost. Out of that 36 million, not lost, but on hold, right, in a way. So now out of that 36 million, if we get basically 28 million of those back, we're still going to be at 08 recession levels, damn near, right? So, but that's really it. But the one thing that I know for sure is different is the banks they have been stress tested way more. Before there was no stress testing at all, right?
Right.
So the banks have been stress tested a lot. So the banks are going to be here, and the banks have already been bailed out to an extent with the PPP. They get paid for administering those loans, right? So they get in, some free government money, also, right? So, plus we started quantitative easing
Early.
way early on this one. So, it's an election year. They just throwing money at it. We didn't have $9 trillion to throw at the problem, last time in the first month or so. So this is a very interesting time, but listen, I know you want to start at the beginning. I didn't start at the beginning, but I want to say this, right? I was talking to my home. All right, so Kamari, right? Let's just say act like we're not live, right? Let's just say
I'm feeling the setup coming.
No. Let's just say you lost everything, right? Let's just say, your portfolio is Shabbat, you lose your job, the mortgage and rent man is knocking on your door. You're months behind. You're about to get kicked out. You got no money coming in, no hope. The kids need food. The pantries are bare. You've been trying to get a job and get some income, and you can't. What would the young Kamari do, or a regular average American? Not even just Kamari, right? An average Joe. What are they going to do to get money?
I saw your post. When the heat stopped working, then the heat starts working.
You start working, right? And
I'm
so,
gonna rob a person, catch them out in the open. But no, I would never do that. But
yeah, for sure,
a lot of people will. What would I do? And I have nothing. I would leverage my network.
Okay, forget all that. Forget leveraging your
You know
network.
it. So I have nothing.
All your friends are broke too. Everybody's out of here, right? Nobody has anything, and maybe if you're not going to rob people, what's the way that most people try to get money?
All right, you splitting this question up. The way that most people want to try to get money,
yeah,
they're going to go back to their skills and natural God-given ability and talent. They're going to sell food. They're going to do craft. They're going to do.
You don't think that they're going to get the weed bag? You don't think that they're going to start selling crack? You don't think that?
Not everybody, because everybody don't sell crack.
Of course,
but no, let's like on some real stuff. Like, let's look at this, right? You just showed me a mask in your crib, right? Beautiful mask, and you said you got it in Jamaica. Now, you made a joke. You said you didn't know if the guy stole it or if he made it. I'm assuming he made it, right? People do that everywhere around the world. There's always somebody somewhere selling their goods and services. So I'm going to try to, I'm not that artistic, right? So I'm not going to do that. But what I might do is, people don't notice, I'm pretty handy, right? I can swing a hammer. I can turn a screw. I can hang drywall. I can paint. I can cut grass. I can do a lot of things. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna figure out what exactly I can do and offer it to the people that are that I can get access to.
All right. So I know you kind of ruined the whole analogy. Thanks a lot, Kamari. You're educated. So, but listen, here's the thing, right? With America, I'm thinking about America. America throwing, $9 trillion probably by the end of this situation at the COVID, keeps out of a Great Depression. They don't have any money. They all leveraged out. What they're going to do with the state government, forget federal government, what the state government going to do in order to get money, they're going to start selling drugs. They're going to legalize marijuana in every state to fill the state coffers back up. They're going to resort to the drugs. I promise you. Before this is over, if you look at right now, even New York City, he's asking for like hundreds of millions of dollars for New York City alone. Right. So New York State, all the state coffers are empty. I promise you, we're going to have a lot more states with legalized marijuana, and they're going to tax the hell out of it within the next 18, 24 months.
So there's no debate about that. I don't know about the timeline. I think we might be looking more at 36 to 48. But I agree with you. Legalizing marijuana is definitely going to come online. However, last night the House just passed the HEROES Act, which is like another $3 trillion in stimulus that's coming. It's still got to go to the Senate. It's still got to go to the president. But I believe other rounds of stimulus are going to come down the pike for a couple of reasons. Like you said, we got 33, 35, 36 million people unemployed, right? Like you said, some of them are temporary. Some of them may not come back forever. Jobs, that is. However, if your population is too heavily skewed to unemployed, what you're alluding to is that you're going to have all kinds of chaos and anarchy that's going to come down. And the government knows that. Government knows they won't be able to control that. And the government knows they will potentially fall as the great empire ruling the world right now. So they're going to kick out.
I'm not saying it's not going to be Mad Max and the Thunderdome out here. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that there's states that were already struggling and municipalities that were already struggling. And they are, I think, the fastest, easiest way for them to get money is to create a new industry right in that state. Especially you looking at like a West Virginia, who's been hammered, and the oil industry has been hammered in West Virginia. They've been taking hit, coal, shale,
Yep,
everything
yep, yep.
hammered West Virginia. They get in the casinos, but at the casinos, they're like, nah, man, like, you know, at the casinos, it's going to be marijuana. Like I said, and that's just for the states to get the revenue back up to fill the holes.
But you know what happens, right? So we get too many states doing it, they're going to be competing. So like Jersey has medical, I believe. PA has medical. But once you get too many people, too many states on board, it's going to have a diminishing effect. So I mean, but I agree with you. I do agree with you though.
The state stores and the cigarette distributors, I promise you, are regulated and hand over fist. And the tax stamps, the states making all types of bread off of liquor and cigarettes, and they will be making hundreds of millions or more off as they legalizing marijuana. And
No, I agree. But when you look at some of the Colorado, Washington, even some of the local municipalities have weed stores. They got state-owned, locally owned weed stores, local government-owned weed stores. I'm saying
I know that
that lasts for forever. I agree with you. Like, it's an untapped industry. The weed market worldwide is several billions of dollars. I want to say two to four right now. And then once it becomes federally legal in the United States, I think it opens up a whole other potential. But what was the point you're trying to get to?
No, that was I'm just saying, like, that's what the government is going to sell drugs. So to create that industry, right? To get more people employed, so a lot more growers, a lot more shippers, you got the security for that, and then they can put the money in the bank. But right now, they can't. And can they even put their money in the bank right now? Weed stores? I don't know if they can or can't.
No, they can't, because
Right.
it's federally illegal.
Right. Okay. So now they put the money in the banks. The banks can lend their weed money back out to people. I mean, it's just it's creating a whole entire industry, and there'll be the industry will create hundreds of thousands of jobs, if not a million or two. I don't know how big it's going to be, but it's going to be a lot of jobs, especially like growers, and then the technology behind it, and then the marketing companies and advertisers are going to take it. We're going to we seeing weed commercials, on Instagram. Everybody's going to start making money.
I'm going to say this: in the long run, the weed industry is going to be absorbed by big tobacco. That's my prediction.
I think that they'll start to consolidate. There are going to be some acquisitions.
Yeah, in the long run, not no time soon, but in the long run.
There'll be some acquisitions. But if you look at it right now, like even in the real estate world and also in the beer world, boutiques are really taking over. Like real estate in general, what's happening in real estate in Philadelphia is you have.
Well, hold on. We done went off on a tangent. Let's rewind this back.
All right, go ahead.
How did you get started? You were a mortgage lender first.
13 minutes in, we're gonna bring it back. So I'm a mortgage lender. So it's a friend of mine, a man Logan, was a loan officer, and he was making a few bucks. And this was, like I said, 05, 06, something like that. And back then, everybody was getting rich in the mortgage business. Everybody was getting rich then. And so I started making money. And what's weird is I started in October. And
of 06.
It was either 06 or 05. I don't remember what year it was exactly.
Okay.
I think it was 05. But I started in October, and I had a 6-week draw, right? So for 6 weeks, I was getting $200 a week, and I was working from 5 to 9
at night.
Yeah, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Those my hours. We was cold calling,
smiling and dialing.
Yeah, I was terrible at it. I was really bad, but I didn't get my first check, my first settlement until the end of January. So after like October, November, that 6 week period, I was done with my $200, my $200 a week draw, and I had no money. I was going there every day, Monday through Saturday. Saturday, we were there for Saturday 4 hours. It was like 10 to 2 or something like that. And then so 6 days a week, I'm going there, not making any money until January. I got my first check. And after that, money was just started flowing. I mean, I told a story the other day on Better Than Success. It was cats in there. They were in high school having $18,000, $20,000 months. Like, can you imagine? You're 17 years old and you done made 20,000 this month, bro. Everybody was getting rich. The products were just available out there and everybody wanted it. And so, I made enough money that I ended up opening a net branch, which is basically, I had a franchise. I bought a mortgage franchise, and I opened up a branch. I did that right at the beginning of 08, because I remember New Century Financing. That was the first domino. We got a fax that said they were closing.
Wow.
And I didn't think that nothing, like New Century would be closing, whatever. And then in the next few weeks, they closing. Wells Fargo subprime is done. Washington, whatever bank is done. Everybody, all of a sudden, Washington
Mutual.
Probably Washington Mutual, but everybody was just closing back to back to back, and then Bear Stearns I'm like, oh man, Bear Stearns closed, and then I didn't make any money. I had my brand new building, all my overhead, all my employees, and I had to like start trimming the fat, and I made $0 for 8 months, still trying to hang on, where I should have pivoted out of there earlier, and plus, because I was a franchise, the way it worked is I couldn't get my checks directly. The money from my settlements had to go to the headquarters of the franchise, to them, and they would have to disperse my check to me. And so I had $40,000 down there, and they filed bankruptcy. And I never got a dime of that. And my partner, I think he got like $800 from the class action lawsuit, whatever. And I think like 7 years later, 6 years later, got $800 from that out of that 40,000. And so they had all my money tied up from all my settlements. I had like 9 deals in the pipeline that I couldn't close, and I was trying to find a home for them, and I held on too long. I should have give that 4 months rather than giving that 8 months, and then when I finally left, I was done. I was drained. I had nothing left, like legit nothing. I had no money left at the end of that. Nobody can get a mortgage. Nobody was trying to buy a mortgage. Nobody can refinance. But now I think the difference is everybody want to refinance because interest rates are still low from then. When back then, a good interest rate then was 7.5%. That was a good interest rate. Now you could get a 2.9, 3.2. And so we never really recovered from 08. And so now, that's what I was saying, like we don't really have as many tools to quantitatively ease that we can't keep lowering interest rates, to save it. But anyway, so that's how I got into the business, and because I was not good at cold calling, I got my real estate license, and I knew I was going to be rich, man. It was this company called Lincoln Mortgage, and they were giving away 100% financing loans down to a 500 credit score.
Damn.
500.
So those are definitely subprime.
Listen, so the caveat was their mortgage insurance was mega high. They paid a lot of money in mortgage insurance, and they didn't care if you foreclosed. They had insurance on you because you're paying, right? And so the thing was, if you could have collections up to $5,000. If you have $5,000 in collections or over, you had to pay them all. If you have $4,999 in collections, you don't have to pay any of them.
So you're saying like if a mortgage that you processed and they hadn't paid that mortgage.
Not the mortgage. I'm talking about you had like, back then, I don't know why, but a lot of people had like Bali's Gym. Bali's Gym was the main people putting people in debt. Bali's Gym, man, they had everybody was in collections with Bali's Gym. But so if you had like $200 with Bali's Gym, $300 with Sprint, you might have a credit card for $2,000, $3,000, like not a mortgage, but these, other personal debt items.
Oh, I got you. So somebody applying for a mortgage had less than $5,000 in outstanding debt. You guys will still process the mortgage.
Not outstanding, collect. They had much debt was in collections, meaning that you had $5,000 that you didn't pay and not bothering to pay.
All right, hold that thought. Everybody, if you're just joining, you're watching the Finance Rebel Show. This is the Saturday edition. This is our Wealth Conversations segment. Today's guest is Mr. Malik Carter, real estate agent, real estate investor, and now newly stock market investor. So Malik's telling us his story, he's sharing his journey with us. And so Malik, let's pick back up. You said $5,000 in collections, right? And you still $5,000 in collections with a 500 credit score, and you still could get
100% financing.
100% financing.
I'm like, wait a minute. And when I found that thing,
no doc.
It wasn't no doc. Now you listen, but those days was hazy, You listen, whatever you gave me, we submitted. like, oh, okay. Listen, like, cool. Listen, the bank, they got underwriters for a reason.
Right.
Who got a judge? Whatever you give me, we submit.
So how long did you stay with Lincoln? Like, how long did that last?
So mind you, I was a broker. So that was just one of my 300 lenders that I sent stuff to. Mm-hmm. And that lasted for about less than 6 months because this was at the tail end. Like, had I been doing that a year before, I would have made millions of dollars because I would have stood in the corner of 52nd Market Street and say,
yo,
let's go. We'll do 100% financing with 6% sellers assist. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go. So now, you might have $2,000 maybe to buy a house with a 500 credit score. Yeah, I knew I was making $1 million that year. I knew I was. Because who don't got a 500 credit score? If you don't have a 500 credit score, then you're probably deceased.
So was it at that point you started to buy your first real estate investments?
So yes. It was actually right at going towards the end. Actually, right at the very end, I bought a house at 21st and Dolphin. And I was doing, what happened was I was a partner with a good friend of mine. We were partners initially at the rooming house. He owned it, but he didn't want it anymore. And so I partnered with, and the bank, it was 2 years of payment and not missing payments. And the bank wouldn't take it from the bank, was like, no, that's on you. And so he ended up partnering with us, me, my man David, to do a rooming house. And we made so much money. I was like, man, Kyle, let me just buy this crib off you. And because that way the loan paid, you're happy, I'm happy, I'm getting more money. And that was good for a while. And then even after that money was really holding me down after I lost pretty much everything. Like, I just got in that house. And man, I was making money hand over fist because it was a 3-story. When I got a 3-story house, and it was 2 bedrooms and a real tiny bedroom and a tiny bathroom on the 3rd floor. The 2nd floor had a massive 2nd bedroom, a decent sized middle bedroom, and then a front bedroom. And then what I did, I turned around, I put 2 more rooms on the 1st floor. So I'm charging $75 for the small rooms, $100 for the front bedrooms.
75 and 100 a week, right?
A week.
Yeah.
A week. And then for the biggest bedroom, I was charging like $150 because one of them had a half bath in it. I was charging like $150 for it. Man, listen, all I did, I framed the walls up with some sheetrock up painted rooms. And next I had, I had 8 rooms in that house. So I was killing the game at that point. I mean, but it's just that, but that, I actually ended up taking a job in North Carolina, and it was hard to manage. And then I partnered with my brother-in-law, it didn't work. Partnered with my brother, that didn't work. And then I ended up coming back. I ended up coming back, and that so I was able to do it myself. And then I got a job at the housing authority. I was at Blumberg when I was at 22nd and Jefferson,
So
23rd.
wait a minute. You moved to North Carolina and got a
Yeah.
job. What were you doing?
Yeah, I got a job at Time Warner Cable. Yeah, I was there for 6 weeks. And let me tell you this, that's why I know I couldn't do it. I mean, first of all, having a job.
But wait a minute. You moved from Philly to
Mhm.
North Carolina.
Uh-huh.
Was that with your wife? Not with your wife?
So my wife and I, we actually ended up buying a house, my old house, 51st and Catherine. And then I moved down there. We were actually going to transition to North Carolina. Like we were actually going to move down there. And then I did a deal up here. Actually, the rooming house, and then I made some money, and then I ended up coming back. I was only there for 6 weeks. I was there, and that was a tough time. I'm in North Carolina, suspended license, no car.
Are you riding dirty?
Man, I didn't have it was just a really, really tough time, and I lived with my homie, like one of my best friends and his wife, and she didn't want me there. Like she didn't say that. I knew her too. We knew her from college. We met her at the same time, but he just ended up marrying her, and so she didn't say that she wanted me there, but her actions was like, "Come on, man, it's time for you to roll," at the crib. And
All right, so just to give everybody a little bit of backstory, Malik went to college in North Carolina, so he
I
got
went
people
to
in North Carolina,
North Carolina Central University,
right?
the
So,
Rolling Hills and Verdant Green, HBCU life.
so for folks that are like, wait a minute, how did he wind up going to North
Yeah,
Carolina?
I went to college there. So, like I said, even to this day, I know more people in Carolina than I do in Philly. Just from I was there after first of all, I was in school for like 5.5 years, and then I stayed down for like an extra year or some change. So I know way more people down there. At least I'm closer to my people in Carolina than I am. My man Tom, I was telling you about, he worked at Time Warner Cable, and my other man, and they was making 80, just selling cable, which is easy. People call you, asking what they want, and you get a commission from that. And it's making like 80,000 a piece, 90,000. I'm like, man, that's easy. So I go from a situation where I'm dead broke to put in a position where I can make 80 from cable sales. I'm like, yeah, let's go. But let's what happened, right? It was this cat in the class. He was a funny dude. And after this is like, so the training program was 6 weeks. We were at the 5th week. And mind you, they said we couldn't miss any days. When I got the job, I had to come to Philly twice. So I tell them, like, listen, I got 4 days. I know you said we can miss 0, but I got to miss 4. So there's already met off that, right? And so the dude, he made a joke, and he said, like, damn in his joke. And one of the other trainees told on us. And they put me into the supervisor office, and he chastised us for saying damn on the floor. And it was at that moment I knew that job life was not for me. Like I'm like, nah. And I ended up coming home for a second time and never went back to training. And then and that was it. Like I said, I did a deal up here. I made a couple dollars. So I wasn't in as dire straits as I was when I got down there.
Gotcha.
And so I ended up moving back to Philly. And that's how that was. Quick little tangent. But now that job life, man, I'm very unemployable. It's hard.
Well, I mean, I think you went on a journey from what, all our conversations over the years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you worked at PHA for how long?
I was there for like 6 years. It was supposed to be 2 years, but to be honest, man, I was scared to come back out in the street. It's like, once we got paid every week, it wasn't a lot, but it was every week. And I didn't know how the market was, and I wasn't sure if I was going to, make it in real estate. And so I stayed there for 4 years longer than I probably should have. But I mean, it worked out. Like working in the housing authority really humbled me. It really made me appreciate my life a lot more. Even the small things, right? Because when I started in December, and from
Now
December.
let's establish a timeline. December of what year? That's
So
08,
no, this is like December of '09.
09.
Like December of '09 is when I started. And so so I worked in the high rises at Bloomberg, right? And
Give everybody a picture of what Bloomberg is, because everybody on air isn't from Philly, nor are they from North Philly.
Right. So it's 24th and Jefferson, which is, at about 6 blocks from Temple at Broad and Jefferson. And then there's where Girard College was, 2 blocks from like Girard College Wall, like 19th and Girard College Wall there, kind of sandwiched, but in the middle of North Philly, and that's where it was. And so it was me, I had 2 co-workers that were managers, my supervisors, and we managed 510 units in that development. And 3 of the buildings were high rises. They went to the 18th floor. The 2 family buildings went to 18th floor, and the senior building was at the 13th floor. They had the low rise units on like 22nd and Ridge Avenue. We managed all of them. And
describe like the activity during the day and night at Bloomberg.
So I wasn't there at night. So I can just imagine. I had to go there at night a few times, like just riding through, right? Or if it was a fire, if it was a suicide, a couple other things, I would have to come back in the nighttime. I mean, I can't imagine why they need me there. I mean, for a fire, I dig it, right? If I have to rehouse people, I get it. But why they need me there for a suicide? I mean, come on. Like, yeah, you got to be the manager, you got to come into your site. Somebody commit suicide? What am I going to do? All I did, I was just there, and so, but at that moment, it was summertime. It was 11 at night, summertime, everybody out. And this cat, he had jumped out of the 13th or 14th floor window. No, 13th floor window. Because it was the top floor. He was high, he was at his mom's house. And he jumped out of the apartment. And to see people talking to their like 6, 8-year-old kids, like, hey, look, go look over there. It's a dead body. He jumped. Go look at it. And I'm like, yo, these people are crazy. Like that really happened. Like you're telling your 6, 7-year-old kid to go look at the dead body over there. So these are type of things, man. I was me and my coworker, we were the first on the scene, of a homicide. This cat, like really one of my most emotional moments. I'm trying to get the time with this, but emotional moment. This dude, he was getting money. I don't know how he was getting money, and we had businesses, whatever. So
Malik, he living in the projects and he getting money.
Right. Well, no, he didn't live there. Like I said, like a lot of kids, they got daycares. They get money out. They get legal money out there. A lot of people get legal money out there too. It just looked dirty because they the street. They still want to look like hustlers, even though they got the daycares, they got the bar, they got whatever else. But his girl lived there and his kid, and he had 2 other kids with him. He pulled up in like a green 745. His son that was in the car with him was like 13. Then his daughter was in the backseat, who was younger than his son. So he walked up in the building with his other kid's mom and the youngest, who's probably like 5, 6 years old. The girl come back running down to us, like screaming and shaking, right? And she's got like blood on her. Like they killed him, And my supervisor, superwoman, she could run out the door. I'm like, I'm not gonna let her run the building by herself, but I'm like, why are we going up there, right? So anyway, so we went up there. It's like the 8th floor, whatever they was on, and like I ain't never ran stuff that fast in my life, chasing behind her. And you got this dude laid out in the hallway. His there's brain matter on the door sliding down. There's blood everywhere, you know. And I'm like, damn, they really did kill dude, right? And so we looking at that, and then you know, what I always come back to is like, imagine being that 13-year-old kid in a car. You see all these ambulance and cop cars, like, damn, something happened. Something happened, right? And then they see him, you know, willing you pop out on a stretcher, and they know he did, but there's so many people out. I mean, it was like a real emotional time, right? But that's the kind of trauma that they got to deal with every day. And people like, damn, why can't you put yourself up by your bootstrap? Because people getting killed around, like people, they have PTSD. It's impossible to grow up in an environment and not have PTSD, right? And this is that thing afternoon. This is not, you know, this is not 2 a.m. This is not, it's 3 p.m. And everybody outside, and nobody's affected by it but me. Like, damn, that's messed up. And still get back to playing craps, right? Damn, that's messed up. And, you know, running around, still playing ball in a crate, right? And so you'd be like, oh, these people, they savages out there. Like, no, if you put them in that situation, of course they going to smash and scrape and do whatever they can to get out of it. Or if not get out of it, just live the best they can while they're in it.
Right.
Right. So, but any rate, I mean, I got, you know, it's too many of them. Like from the first, it'd be 8 months I was there, but not really that bad. But then there was like 12 murders in and around Bloomberg and like an 18-month time span.
And so I don't know if anybody's ever watched The Wire, but Bloomberg kind of resembles The Wire to a certain degree. So you have a lot of people out. You got low rise, like Malik said, you got low rise apartments, you got high rise apartments. There's a lot of drug activity. I'm never the cat that's trying to describe everybody that lives in a housing project as savages, because there's a lot of good people that are in projects. Like you said, they're just in that type of situation because of whatever circumstance. But it's not an environment that really
right.
Not what we're saying.
It's not, but what you're saying is, but from being there.
Right. And that's what I was going to say. That breeds inspirational either.
No, it doesn't. But what I'm saying is this: I've seen people thriving coming out of Bloomberg, out of Bartram Village, out of Johnson Homes. I've seen people thriving. You know, there's one young lady, she got into Harvard coming out of Bloomberg. You know, she ended up choosing FAMU, which I could appreciate that, you know, being an HBCU, but she ended up getting pregnant while she was at FAM, you know. But I mean, it didn't kill her. She ended up coming home and went to Gwinnett Merge. I think now she's a nurse, right? So it didn't kill her. But to see people with the ability to get into Harvard coming out of those situations, you know, I know somebody that went to, like, the home life was terrible, but they ended up still getting into Masterman and still, I forget the high school she went to, but still got a 4 out of Penn State and came out, you know, as an engineer, right? And so you have this, right? That's why I don't take anybody for granted. And when I do my screenings, you know, that's why I can't stand with investors. It's like, oh, this is an A neighborhood, this is a B neighborhood, this is a C neighborhood. And
well, hold on, don't jump too far ahead. So don't jump too far ahead. We still at Bloomberg.
Right. No, right. What I'm saying is, I don't like when people say that, because I've learned to take people as individuals, right? I don't look at where you come from, what the neighborhood is. I just understand when I'm screening, look at the individual. I don't grade the neighborhood by as well, because every individual there is different. You know, I learned, man, bro, I learned a ton, you know, and I'm gonna tell you this honestly, my most valuable financial lesson came out of Bloomberg. You know, this one young dude, he was selling like a lot of dope. He was killing the game, you know. And I asked him, I was like, bro, when is enough enough? Like, when you walk away, he looked at me confused. He didn't understand what I was saying. Like enough, like ain't never enough. And then a few months later, he came back to me like, look, old head, I understand what you're saying. At the end of the year, I'm done. This is like January. You're like, end of the year, I'm out of here. And at the end of the year, I ain't see him no more. I don't know whether he was just supplying differently or he wasn't come to the buildings. I don't know. I just know I ain't see him no more. After that, December, never saw him down there again. And I saw him at the Home Depot. And the whole time he was grinding, he ended up buying 12 houses and rehabbed them. You know, no mortgage, straight shoebox money in Brewery Town. So now dude is like a multi-millionaire now out of Bloomberg, you know, and he out of the game. He out of the game. Well, he was, at least then he was out of the game. You know, I saw one other time in Southwest other than that. But yeah, he had 12 houses in Brewery Town, all paid for, no debt. You know, he was bringing in like, I think they were like 12 to 1400 a month, you know, like, you know, and got out of there, you know. So it's a lot of success stories, but I've seen a lot of death too.
But I remember you telling me that story, and I think you also said you kind of coached him up a little bit about getting into real estate.
Right. So I mean, everybody that came through, I was into lesson. So the lesson that he said, we were talking about it, is he said he was able to leave because he realized, he was like, yo, he just needed to make $7,000 a month. Like there's nothing in the world you can't do with $7,000 a month. I started thinking about it. I was like, man, you're right. You're right. Like, yeah, I mean, you know, if you want to spend this, if you want to, you know, shop every day, if you want to, you know, do the Louis Vuitton, if you want to spend all your money with LVMH, right? If you want to have mansions, then no, you can't do that. But you can have a very good quality of life off of $7,000 a month, right? And to this day, like, I mean, fortunately, I was able to surpass that, but that was my original goal. You know, when I came out on my own, I was like, I could live good with $7,000 a month. And you know, I got there and I was able to push past it. But like I started out with that goal that I got from Bloomberg. But bro, everybody came in the office. I'm encouraging them like, yo, buy a crib and teach them about real estate. Everybody that come through, not just at every age, it don't matter. You know, I was a court, and some people ended up buying houses. Some bought houses with me. I was the realtor actually in some of the houses. You know, some people ended up, you know, just buying other houses that they lived in. And there's one girl, man, she bought a house for 11,000. I was in Bartram Village at this time. She bought a house right across from Blumberg.
So you worked at Bartram Village also, right?
Right. I was at Blumberg for 4 years, and I was at Bartram Village, and then I went to Johnson Homes for a short period of time. Then I went to Spring Garden. So I was kind of, you know, all over.
Okay, so everybody that's watching, I want y'all to understand that Malik worked for what's called the Philadelphia Housing Authority. The Philadelphia Housing Authority oversees all the quote unquote low income housing projects in the city. And what he just described was several different projects throughout the city. So you were able to go from North Philly to South Philly or Southwest.
You're right. Bartram's right. So if you're farther Southwest, right.
Yeah. And working all these different places. Was there, did you see any common denominators between the people that lived there? I mean, were they different? I mean, every neighborhood I know is somewhat different, but
yeah, but everybody doing the same thing, man. You know, is everybody doing the exact same thing. You know, it's nobody, you know, and the thing is, there's nobody down there like the person that got paid the most out of all of me screening was the corrections officer, you know. And of course, if you got a felony, you can't be no corrections officer, right? You know, you can't pass a piss test, you can't be a corrections officer, you know. And she made the most, and she wouldn't move out. She said she couldn't move out. She said she couldn't afford to. It was just her and one kid, and I don't know what she felt like, how much money that she would need, but she felt like as a CEO, all ministry overtime, she's making like, you know, any year between $70,000 and $90,000 with overtime, and she didn't feel like she can afford to move out.
I gotta ask, like, what would the rent look like for somebody making 70 to 90,000 in the projects?
At Bartram Village, so you gotta pay. So it's different, right? If you're in PatMac, which is the still public housing, is like the tax for the sites. They might have to pay like $1,200, but I think her rent was like 598 or something like that, or
Right.
it was no more than 712 at that time. It was no more than 712.
Gotcha. So all right, so let's speed this up just a little bit. So
Yeah, sure.
you were at housing authority. You decided to leave. Now, what made you want to leave?
I really couldn't stand the job, man. Honestly, I really disliked the job. And at the time where I really left, I actually left for health reasons. I had my blood pressure was super high, and then my doctor gave me FMLA. I was like, "Ben, I'm gonna take him. Take the 6 weeks off." And then after 6 weeks, I got a letter saying come back to work. And I got anxiety again. My blood pressure went back up again. I was like, "Yeah, I'm not going back." So she threw me out for another 6 weeks of FMLA. I used up all my vacation time, all my sick time, like all my everything, and I just I left.
And so you left, and then next step was what? To go full-time real estate agent,
Yeah,
or
full time real estate agent, right? But what? Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry.
So everybody watching, you're watching the Finance Rebel Show. I am the Finance Rebel, Kamari Yellows. Every Saturday, I try my best to have somebody on who can talk about wealth, right? Talk about their journey into wealth, creating wealth, how they did it, to hopefully inspire you and anyone else you may know. Today, we're talking to Malik Carter. He is a real estate agent, real estate investor, and now a newly turned stock market investor. So if you know anybody who might be interested in taking that journey to create wealth, please share this show with them. But I'm on all the time, and this whole show, my whole goal is to help people raise their financial IQ. So go ahead, Malik. You were saying that you did
I didn't talk about my whole Bloomberg experience. What was the question? I'm sorry.
the FMLA when you
So yes, when I left, so once again, I didn't have confidence that I was going to be successful in real estate, and I got suspended. I got suspended one time at the job, and I already had rental income, and so I ended up taking my wife to Puerto Rico during the suspension. And so what I did, I ordered some books to learn how to be exterminator. And while I was in Puerto Rico during the daytime, like working one at a time, studied for a few hours. After that, I enjoyed my trip, did that for 5 days, came home, took my exam. Now I'm a licensed exterminator, and I was like, I was just going to, if this don't work, like I know for a fact that I could find 4 people a day that got roaches. I was like, all right, I'm going to spray. I'm going to spray. I'm going to charge $50 a spray. $50 a spray. I can make $200 a day, make $1,000 a week, and I'm going to work a little bit, and then work and still continue working real estate if it builds up. If that doesn't build up, I'll just be a full-time exterminator and build that business out. I mean, that's a really viable business. I mean, that's people all the time, like exterminator. Like right now, if everything went to an end for me, I'm an exterminator. Because
it was funny, right? I'd never forget those posts. You said, I don't understand why people can't, 1, find a job, and then 2, or find a way to make money. Anybody could become an exterminator.
Anybody. Listen, all you need, the biggest expense is the test. So actually the books are expensive because there's only 2 places that sell the books. You got to get them from Penn State, or one other company sells the books to take the test. But after you own the books, you have to take the test, pay for the test. The test is like $100. It's not even crazy. There's no classes to take. There's no pay your $100, pass the test, you're an exterminator. That's for household.
That's
if you want to do
right there.
Right, and that's it. You don't need no education. Just pass the test.
Right.
So now that's for household. It's another test if you want to do wood destroying insects. It's another test if you want to do like water management. And if you want to do another test, if you want to do like commercial, like schools, churches, and lawns, like it's another test for that. But for right now in Philly, household general, and that'll get you termites, mice, ants, roaches. This is Philly, and rodents, all that. Whatever you want to do.
That's hustling right there.
That's it. Look, I'm telling you, listen, my strategy was I can spray somebody's house, whether for free or for not, right? Then I can, after I spray their house, I'll go to the neighbors. I'm like, listen, I just sprayed Miss Jane's house. So whatever she had, the roaches, they can come to your house next. So I just did hers. I'm right here. I do it for you for a discount, and they can be like, you here? Come on, spray. I know they come over here and they're going to like, yeah. Then we go to next door, boom, boom, boom. I just sprayed the next neighbor house. The roach they had come to your house. And because nobody got roaches because of them. They roaches all because of the neighbors.
Right.
That was my marketing. Door knock. And I know you can do that. For a day. For a fact, I know that.
Yeah.
Make $200 a day. And I might, turn that up. Next thing you know, I'm doing eight a day, making $100,000 a year off of doing 8 sprays a day. I might take me a spray take 15 minutes. If that, you just run through and spray the crib down.
Right.
Come on, man. Like, listen. Cameron said, if you can't get paid and the earth is big, you're worthless.
I mean, it's funny, right? I think Cam is like one of the funniest characters ever, but he's really smart. And, that cat was talking about selling and making toilet paper years ago. I don't know why he never did it, but.
Well, not what he said. It was just he couldn't work at the time. He couldn't do the leg work.
Right. No, that's perfect. Now, if y'all see me and Malik got on matching shirts, different colors, right? All right. So we ain't no Bopsy twins or nothing like that. But this is actually Malik's shirt. And so I brought this shirt because I am jealous of this shirt because I'm jealous that I didn't create this shirt first. Because everything on this shirt, from the stocks to the life insurance to the real estate to the business, it's everything that we talk about in the Finance Rebels. So I give bad credence to Malik for having the gumption and courage to even create this joint. So
I created this shirt because people don't realize or don't see every day that you need to have the stocks, the life insurance, the real estate, and the businesses. Those are the 4 elements of building wealth. Like, you have to have all 4. Have to have all 4. If you don't have real estate, cool, but I recommend that you do. But you 100% got to invest in the stock market. You 100% got to buy life insurance, and you could have some sort of business. But I think business is probably
the hardest.
It's 100% the hardest thing to do, but it could be the most lucrative, depending on what it is. I mean,
absolutely.
You saw the other day, the girl, 19 years old, made $1 million in 8 minutes. Off Instagram from the product, and I know stocks are great, but I don't know how much money you have to have in the stock market to make $1 million in 8 minutes. You probably gotta have a lot of money. But
it depends. But I'm just like you, right? If you are looking to get uber rich or uber wealthy, you gotta have a business, and the business doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be rocket science. You don't got to be Elon Musk. I mean, in Philadelphia, right? Everybody hates that I bring her up, but I'm a fan of Saudi Shola and Country Cooking. I'm a major fan because this woman.
I love Saw.
Yeah. Like I tell people all the time, you can just sell fried chicken, and I know Saw sells more than fried chicken, but she's selling food and she's selling soul food, and she's doing pretty good from what I can tell from that. Right? You can do an exterminator. You can be. You can sell pies and cakes, because Denise is another prominent Black-owned baker in the city, has been doing that forever. And so again, it doesn't have to be rocket science. Find what you like to do, make it great, professionalize it, and then rock out with it. Like you said, even what I love about what you said about the extermination thing, right? You even thought about how to market it. So many people don't even think that far in advance. And I mean, you could do that by door knocking. You could do that by
but I mean, that's probably we gotta, that's why we get these tips, man. And so that's why we get these tips. But I'm gonna tell you, man, I'm gonna tell you this: if anybody does it, is cool, on here. But I know for a fact I was gonna have the #1 extermination business in the city of Philadelphia. And
all right, so the other thing is, right, not to cut you off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's not on here that I like to talk about is mindset. What you just talked about is mindset. And so you like, I'm shooting to be number one, not the best Black, not the best white, not the best Latino, number one in the city that has roughly 1.5 million people in it. That's business in and of itself. So
I might still do it. I might, who knows? I might come out of COVID, you know, call me, listen, I'm saying, here's my company name. Hey, company name, it was called Rat Away. Right? It was called Rat Away. And then when you call, listen, we'll be there right away. Come on, yo, Rat Away. Yo,
so hold on, let's rewind back because you know me and you will go on a tangent in a minute. So you were in Puerto Rico. You studied to be an exterminator with your wife. You took your wife
on my suspension from a job.
Yeah, suspension from your job. What made you not go that route and go the route of full-fledged real estate agent?
So no, I did. I mean, after I quit, like that's what I did. I did that first. Extermination, which is a backup, like in case it don't work. It just so happens.
Oh, so you actually were exterminating.
I did like 4 jobs, yeah.
Okay. So what made you stop?
Real estate just took off. Real estate, I mean, from the time that I started, I never looked back. I never got an employment check. The money just started coming. Like, listen, under housing authority, I was making $55,000. I doubled that the next year in real estate, and my first year out of the gate, I'm making over 100,000. Like, I was making money instantly selling real estate, and I'm like, damn, this is easy, because it was easy, you know. Plus, I mean,
now did you cold call real estate? I know a lot of people want you to cold call. Like, how did you jump so fast?
So, because I always kept my license and I always talked about it. And so I would get referrals here or there. I wasn't taking it. I was at work. I couldn't do it. Then I just was like, all right, what's going to do? I started using social media. You know, I started canning, you know, I sent a bunch of canned DMs or inboxes on Facebook. I jumped in my phone, called my friends and family. And, you know, and I started that way, you know, and it just started to take off. You know, I just started getting, you know, 1 deal here, 2 deals. And, you know, when I'm getting paid, I was at a company where I was getting 100% of the commission, right? And so if I close a deal,
the real estate commission.
Yeah, real estate commission. Yeah. 100%. Right. So if I close a deal for 150, you know, I'm getting 4,500. I'm good for the month. I just came from that. I just came from basically, I was bringing my bring home at 55,000. Bring home was like 701. I'm saying, so I go from 701 to making 4,500. That's off of 1 deal, off of 1 house. I can do 1 house a month, you know, and still be better off than I was at my job. Right. You know, but like I said, I didn't have the confidence that I was going to be successful in real estate. And then after that first year, like, oh, this is a go. And I just kept moving. And, you know, I got a good name, you know, and my reputation is the most important thing to me. So, you know, I'm 100% going to be straightforward, and people like that. You know, I think my biggest problem as a realtor, as a buyer agent in general, is I would feel like I would know what's best for the client, and they will always go against my grain, because my thing is, like, they're looking at it more as a place to live. And I'm looking at it as more of an investment. Like, I know to own a house is a liability, but the way that you buy, it could be used to leverage you and put you to the next level. That's what it did for me. You know, my first house that I actually lived in was on the market for $77,000. I bought it for $63,000. You know, my mom helped me fix it up. She gave me like $2,500. Took me a year worth of time to finally finish it up. And I refinanced it for like $119,000, and so now I got $50,000. That's the first time in my life I ever had $50,000. That's all mine at one time. Like, it put me in the game. I wanted to live there, but I also bought right, and that $50,000, I was able to buy the next house I bought in Germantown. It was a 5-bedroom, 1 bath. You know, for 30,000 foreclosure, I put 5,000 into that house, and I had a tenant paying me $1,250. The mortgage where I live was $675. I bought this house free and clear with the money from the refinance. And she paid me $1,250. So that $1,250 is paying for my house, all my bills. Life got real easy, you know. And so I'm telling him, trying to show people how real estate helped me change my life and change my finances. And I'm like, I want them to do the same thing, but they didn't want the same thing for themselves, and so that would frustrate me, you know. And so that's the reason. I mean, that's my worst attribute, I think, as a realtor. And I don't have a poker face, you know. When they go out here, you know, if they approve for 250 and all the house we're looking at is 270, you know, and I'm like, all right, listen, my job is to give you what you want. You know, I see your financials, I see your situation. I know that with a couple extra steps that you could be in a much better position. I know that you only got $7,000 to your name. I know that we got this grant. I know we got this owner's assist, and you basically get to this crib by the skin of your teeth. But let me put you in a situation where you could thrive rather than just get by. And
so your approach to it all is more of a steward. Like stewardship is one of my favorite words, but you're looking at it like, let's think long term. Let's take a step back. Let's think long term. Let's not try to get to the final place of your home purchase, right? The big enchilada, but maybe let's buy a little smaller at first, and then we can build up from there.
Yeah, right. So the concept of starter homes out the window. When was the last time you even heard the term starter home? Like, see, nobody even says starter home anymore. Nobody says I want to go buy a starter home. They say I'm gonna go buy my crib, right? And they want, you know, and listen, this is a fact. Most people that when they buy a house is when I say you're gonna kill them at the cookouts, the barbecue. Is like they thinking about how everybody else is gonna see them when they come into their house. It's not about what their needs are, what the fits is. I'm gonna kill them when I had this cookout. I got the finished basement, got the backyard, got the deck, I got the shiny this, I got the shiny that, and there's really more about the feeling, the satisfaction they get when other people love their crib,
right?
Than versus the utility of the house, you know, and
upkeep of the house.
I mean, yeah, but like I said, as far as me, like I said, real estate has financially, like, and mind you, I wasn't taught this stuff. My dad, they were buying real estate, but my dad was like, yo, own it, own it, own it, own it. He was always talking about ownership, but my dad had cash. You know, I didn't have cash, so my dad couldn't teach me financing, you know, and my dad, what he did teach me is the house that we own, you know, he bought it for $5,000, you know, and today it's probably worth 600,000, 700,000. So I understood that. But back then it was like 200, 250, you know, maybe like 12 years ago, right? And so, but still, $5,000, rehabbed it with, you know, no mortgage on it, and it's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. I understood that,
right?
You know, but buying more house and using the equity to buy others and leveraging it up, like that stuff, he couldn't teach me. So all he knew was I got this cash, I'm about to buy some houses.
Yeah, but I think he taught you the most important thing of all, though, right? Leverage what you have to get what you want. So instead of trying to keep it with the Jones, right, and kill him at the cookout, his mindset was ownership. And so to me, mindset trumps everything.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, man, even right now today, people just want a nice place to live and not use this house to pay for an even better house.
Right.
You know, sacrifice, like live. You're in an apartment now. Live in this duplex for 2 years. You know, if the mortgage on the duplex is $1,200, with your tenant paying you $900, you know, instead of you paying $1,200, now you're only paying $300. You got $900 a month at the end of the year. You know, you're gonna save over $10,000 that year. Next year, you know, do it again. You got $20,000 stacked up.
But wait a minute, you just talked about something, right?
Mm-hmm.
You said, at the end of the year, you got about 10 grand stacked up. You're making about $300 a month from the property, net out everything. I meet so many real estate investors who live off of the money that they make off of their property, that they never get a chance to stack up.
Well, that's that lifestyle creep. I mean, they shouldn't do that. I mean, I try not to. When I was first starting out, I reinvested everything in the building into the next property. I wasn't living off it, because you live off it. You can't pinch off of it. But I didn't learn that from real estate. I learned that from when I was throwing parties in college. Because we were trying to live off the money. Next week, we wouldn't have enough money to do the next party. We got to struggle,
Right.
for next week. But so I learned, like, okay, we got to reach. If we want to do bigger parties, the bigger stuff, then we can't spend this money. We got to reinvest.
Right.
And then when homecoming came around, we can afford to hire a little flip. We can afford to bring a fat man scoop. We can afford to, do all these other acts we want to bring through.
Right. So, I think the biggest takeaway out of that is you gotta struggle a little bit so you can build up a big enough nest egg so you can do some things that are really substantial.
Yeah, you have to. But then so what happens is, if at the end of the year, let's say end of 2 years, you got 20 grand, then or even 1 year, doesn't matter. Then the house that you want, you can move into that house. But once you move a tenant into the unit that you were in, now you making $600 a month, and that go towards your new mortgage, and that bring you all your life down.
Yeah, and it's just amazing how many people, because I have a lot of real estate investor clients, and it always amazes me how they really kill their prospects by spending so much money. They kill their future prospects by spending all their money in the now.
And I think part of that is in how we market it. Because a lot of us say, and it is true. If you want to buy a liability, get the asset first to pay for liability.
Right.
But we don't need the first one. Let's let the first one begin to the next one, and then once you get that cash flow up, then you could go. If you want an apartment to pay for your Benz, cool, but the other money still has to go towards your investment to get to the next one. Or
right.
If you want, or put it in the stock market, which right now, I'm going to be doing, is a part of my rental income is going to be going towards my stock portfolio. That's what I'm doing now, and vice versa. Is only because I don't have any stocks. But once I get a big enough money in the stock market, then I plan on using that money to put back in the real estate portfolio.
Right.
It depends on how the money's coming.
But hold on. So all this time you were selling homes to people, you were killing the real estate agent. You said, I'm going to, again, live frugal, because you always talk about the car you own, right? You don't keep up with the Joneses. I think it's a late model 2000 or something like that. And you kept buying real estate over and over and over again. So you figured out your formula. You figured out your area that you like, because you love the whole, what's being called now University City / Southwest Philadelphia area, and you just keep duplicating that over and over and over again.
Well, Cobbs Creek League,
I know you're Cobbs Creek now, but I know some of the stuff because University City kind of now spans the Southwest Philly to a certain degree.
Right. Up to like 51st and Woodland, around that area.
Right. So you kind of saw that coming a long time ago. What was it that pushed you in that direction?
I lived there. That's it. It was nothing. It's nothing about.
But everybody, people live there, right?
No, it's not. It's nothing. Listen, I was buying houses. It's all about, for me, I got lucky that I lived in an area that was growing. For me, it was about easy management. The house in Germantown I bought is probably my top 2 or 3 investments, but I don't like it because it's only in Germantown. I'd never go up there, and I only bought it because it was a 5-bedroom house and it was $30,000. It didn't need much work. That's the reason why I bought it. But it was an awesome investment. But the cash flow was great. The appreciation, not so much. I probably can't sell it.
Hold on to it. Germantown's coming.
Not on Price Street. It says Price is Stanton. I can't see that happening no time soon.
Well, I just looked at some comps in the area. My dad lives, well, I'm kind of from that area, but hold on.
Yeah, I mean, listen, honestly, I only got 4 more years in the mortgage, so I can't sell it. It's almost the mortgage is almost paid for,
Right.
so I can't sell it, right? So, but so that's it. But it's just hard to manage, man. It's all in Germantown. I don't go up there.
Yeah, Malik only likes one section of the area.
I don't like to leave West Philly, man. I don't like to take Lincoln Drive. I don't like to get on the highway. I like to from City Avenue to Woodland Avenue. That's it.
Now, here's what's funny, folks, right? So he discriminates in the city where he goes, but Malik was investing in North Carolina, right? So he keeps going back down south to get at that money. So
yeah, I love North Carolina too, man. Second home. I love it.
All right. So we're an hour and 10 minutes in. I don't want to keep folks all day long, but you've been investing all this time. You've had great success. And then something said stock market. And mind you, folks, we've battered about the stock market. I feel like I am the #1 champion of the stock market for Black folks. And Malik was like, no, we got to get this, got to get these bricks. You got to get this property. But then something flipped inside.
I'm not saying that it flipped. It's just that I didn't have. So there's a couple of things. I'm still, if somebody is of means, I'm still saying real estate first because it's the easiest to get into. And
that's not true.
No. I'll take it back. It's easier is because stock market you can just use Cash App. But what I'm saying is, if somebody has $6,000, or in fact, if you got $3,500, you can control an asset worth $100,000 right now, right? And use that income to put it in, and it's just psychologically it's easier. The stock market, you're looking at it and you hoping, and like you have to do way more studying to invest successfully in the stock market than you do in real estate. And real estate,
do you?
Yeah, real estate. The only thing that matters is how much can I get for this property. You don't like. I tell people, why? What are the comps? Why you worry about the comps of a property where you just said you're going to keep it for 20 years? Why do you care what the comps are today? Does it cash flow? Yes, it cash flows. Okay, at the end of the day, are you going to make 20% of your bread? How I do it, I get 20%. Some people get less, people to get more.
That's your goal?
Huh?
You get 20% cash flow?
I'm making it that's the least I'm making my properties.
So 20% of what? Of your purchase price?
Right. So let's just say if it's an all cash deal, which was some of mine are, right? If I get 20% of my bread back every year from rental income, then I'm happy with that.
So for example, we buy a house for $100,000 and you're able to charge $20,000 in rent for that year. That's your kind of goal. That's your matrix.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
That's the minimum.
I like it.
I had one I was making 50% on. I ended up selling it. The time was just right. The time was right to sell it. I let it go. So like for instance, when in Germantown, like I said, I'm in it. I bought it for 30, put 5,000 in it, and I'm getting $1,250 a month. What's the math on that? You calculate it. The numbers. It's like these are big numbers. And so, and it's just the math. It's just like, okay, how long is it going to take me to get this money back? And then after it's paid back, I got all my money back, and I still have this asset. In the stock market, you like, okay, you got to do way more studying to know which asset you want to purchase, how much you want to get it back. Is it growth stock? Is it dividend stock? You got to look at the PE ratios. You got to look at the whole bounty. There's a lot of studying you got to do for these companies before you say with a house. It's like, okay, I got this house over there. I get my uncle can do the election. I can fix it up for $30,000 or whatever, and I get my money back in 20, in 4 or 5, 6 years. No, it's not. Get you a contractor, get you a realtor. You don't need to know anything but trust them. Pull the trigger on it.
So just so we want to do this a little bit, just to push that point. But
Mhm.
you've also been burned by contractors before. You talk about this publicly,
Sure.
right? So I'm only bringing up public stuff that you talk about. So when I say it's just as easy with stocks, right? Because you can lose money in stocks, right? You know, there are no utopia, no fairy tales that come true right away. You can be burned in real estate, and typically, um, the burn rate or the hurt rate in real estate typically can be about a lot harder, and you don't have the rebound time like you do in stocks. But you know, you and I, we can battle that.
Let me say this though, right? The entire economy could crash, the stock market go to zero, the house can go to zero, but the rent's still gonna come in.
Yes, that's true.
Okay? Right. And so
Well, the economy can go to zero. The housing market can go to zero, but what's going to bounce back harder first? The stock market. So, but you
it
know,
don't matter because the rent never gonna go down. All you want is that cash flow. Am I gonna get my bread back after that 5 years? That's all gravy anyway. You know, so like after you get all your money back in 5 years, everything else is extra.
right?
Right? And so, but like I said, so that's why I was saying, like I'm still a real estate guy, but and learning more about stocks. And my thing is, I didn't know nothing about stocks. You know, my thing, I thought it was like, okay, I buy a stock, eventually it's worth this much. I might get, this little dividend, and that's it. I didn't know about, the options. I didn't know about covered calls. I didn't know about futures. I didn't know about bonds. I didn't know about all this other stuff. My thing about stocks, it was just buy this stock, hold it for 20 years, be worth this much, right? And it's just all the other nuances, I didn't know anything about that. And I didn't know how it worked, especially. Yeah, I mean, and right now, like I can't wait till Monday. Like Monday come, I'm excited. Like I've been all week, I've been like, okay, I'm about to, double dutch jump in this thing right now. You
Gotcha.
know, I'm already hyped for Monday.
But what was it though that made you want to get into stocks though?
Most recently, probably Aisha. Talking to Aisha Selden. Most recently,
and you know what, you mentioned some other people. I just want to take this moment to give a shout out to Better Than Success, Nicole Purvey over there, doing big things. Give a shout out to Aisha Sheldon. I believe her book is coming out soon, Mud to Millions.
Mud to Million. I think Monday. I think Monday tomorrow or Monday it'll be out. Mud to Millions.
Yeah, I know. I want to copy that. I've never met Aisha, but everybody I know like really praises her. Like gives her.
Listen. She's Oprah right now, bro. Listen. I'm 100%. I'm dead serious. I think she has Oprah potential. And I know she sees herself as a person that get money and do for the culture. I think she has Oprah potential. I think she really hit that mark. I think she has the appeal. She has a story. She has the knowledge. She knows how to tell a story. She's personable. I mean, she has like the it factor. I think that she can really be Oprah. I honestly believe that. But also, Jimmy and Corey, by the hood, they've been, yeah, right. By the hood, they've been really, really helpful lately. But the most inspiring person, I think, I'm going to pull this trigger was Aisha. Actually talking to her, and I've been a couple of different places with her. I've seen a couple of her presentations, and and that kind of made me like, okay, let me look to see what this stock thing is like really about. And then, like I said, but I'll probably talk more about strategy initially with Jimmy, and then I'm talking to Corey a lot, like this past couple of days, more than in the beginning. So those three, have been like people that I've been talking to recently about making a living, with the stock market.
Okay.
Before it wasn't like, I look at the stock market as purely something for retirement and not something as a way to generate income. I still do, but I'm looking to generate income in the stock market to put back to his portfolio for retirement. And not
gotcha. I see what it is. I see why I didn't resonate with you, because I wasn't talking income. I was talking more long term. Gotcha.
Oh no, because you was like, nah, buy stock. Like for what? Like, I just think that your approach or maybe your presentation wasn't as much about
It wasn't about income.
it wasn't anything. Honestly, I don't think it was there. It was like buy stocks. Like for what?
Yeah.
Like buy stocks.
I got you.
So you gotta work an elevator pitch, man.
Yeah. So my goal though is to attract beginners, people who haven't done anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and this is no diss to you or anybody else, I feel like a lot of the income stuff is more intermediate and advanced. And I see a lot of people jump into that arena and get scorched and burned without first going through the first step of buying a house. It's like I tell people all the time, I'm not a real estate investor right now. I've managed about 50 doors before. I wouldn't tell anybody to jump into the real estate market and do a flip first. I think that's unless they got guidance, unless they have real guidance. So I would tell them to do real estate investment, an actual buy and hold first, learn it, then get in and figure it all out. And so with people that are jumping into the stock market for income and trying to do day trading, I see a lot of them get scorched and then they get turned off to the stock market over the long term. So, I mean, that's just my personal take on it, right? I mean, there's so many ways to do it, right? Just like real estate, there's so many ways to do it. I see people that, sublease these mega super luxury apartments and Airbnb them. They make good money for a time. A lot of them are getting scorched right now. Mm-hmm. But that's just a matter of the environment. Strategy is not bad. The environment just kind of turned on them. And that could happen with anything. And it just has to also do with how you want to get it, right? Like I said in the beginning, it don't matter how you get it as long as you get it and whatever appeals to you. And so
part of it, everybody when be Rick Ross today, they don't want to work their way up to be Rick Ross. They're like, nah, I want rich today.
Right.
And not really willing to do the steps. They don't want to get rich slow. Right. Everybody want to get rich now.
Exactly. But I see there's a question on here as we start to wrap up. So Be Easy 333, does Malik have a channel or course teaching people of his avenue into real estate as well as different real estate terminology?
So I'll say this, Be Easy 333. Kamari is going to post a link to a landing page, and where I'm actually putting together a course right now for beginners and newbies. And it's not going to be just about real estate. It's like what it takes to build wealth. Right now, my net worth is over $1 million, and I did that by accident with no guidance. And so what we want to do is we want to give people guidance to do it faster, to do it better, to do it more balanced. I don't, like, for instance, I didn't know anything about how to use life insurance to build wealth. I didn't know anything about using stocks to build wealth. I had a conversation with Kamari maybe 2 weeks ago, how when my wife's 401k fell by a lot, I didn't even know what to tell her. What I do know is I buy these bricks, I get some cash flow. If I buy these bricks, I'm all in for 70, and I could sell it for $1.50 if I wanted to, or I could refinance it, or I could just make that money over time. And so we want to teach these wealth strategies to help people get there intentionally. So I'll be 42 next week, man. Had I known this, I could have been either a millionaire, 10 years ago, or I'd be flat broke right now. It depends on my life. I could have done anything. If I honestly work in public housing, even though I hated the job, was the best thing for me. It really humbled me. I'm telling you, I was very humble, and I don't even have the desire to spend as much money as I would have before that job.
Right. I find it really interesting that, everybody's in a hurry to get rich, but nobody's really in a hurry to really learn those rich lessons. And that lesson you learned at the projects and working for PHA, to me, was a wealth lesson. I mean, I'm sure you got exposed to that side of life previously, but to really be thrown into it like that, it says a lot to you. Plus, you already had some muscle and ambition to you anyway. So it probably just helped you step up a notch or two or three during that whole journey. So salutes to you, sir. Salutes to you.
Yeah, appreciate it. But yeah, like I said, anybody, please definitely, hit that link, and I said you'll see the course soon. And like I said, everything I learned on my journey, I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing it back. Like I said, we want to make people wealthy intentionally.
Right. Now, as we wrap up, where can people find you though? Where's your favorite place to be found?
So right now, Instagram, but I mean, you can DM. I honestly don't look at DMs that heavy, but DM is the best place. If you're on Instagram, you can send me an email to carter.malik@gmail. That's carter.malik@gmail.com. And I got an answer. So I got to get my answer for service phone number. But either way, Kamara, I'll give you my phone number for the replay. My answering service.
Okay. What's your phone number?
I will give you my answering service phone number for the replay. I don't even know it.
Right, you don't know. Okay.
I gotta look it up on my email.
All right. Well, we got the carter.malik@gmail.com. So for anybody that wants to reach out for Malik to, one, possibly get some guidance into real estate, becoming a real estate agent, or if you want to buy or sell a home, or if you're looking to invest in a property as well, and look forward to his and our, because we're working on it together, his and our new course talking about real estate investment and stock market investment, along with some other things as well, like life insurance and 401k. So we'll be working on that soon. That'll be dropping real soon. Any closing out words for the people, Malik, in terms of wealth creation?
Can I curse on here or no?
Yes.
Okay. Stop buying shit.
Ooh.
That's my tagline. Stop buying shit. You need the money that you spend on the bags and on the sneakers and eating out. That's the money you need to invest. And that's it. Stop buying shit.
Right. All right, folks, that's it for the day. I know everybody got stuff to do for the rest of the day. So we'll be back. Remember, Wednesdays, every Wednesday, I do Wealthy Wednesdays Q&A right here, same Rebel time, same Rebel channel, 8 p.m. every Wednesday. I'll see you all soon. Everybody have a great day. Bye-bye.